Well, Hurricane Irene doused Hampton Roads with inches of rain, but it wasn't enough to put out the Dismal Swamp fire.
A spokesperson from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service says about 2 crews of 60 people are heading back into the swamp to take care of the hot spots still smoldering. Joining us on the phone from the Dismal Swamp fire is John Bear, who's part of the operation to put those flames out. John, welcome to Midday. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for asking me.
I think a lot of folks would be surprised that all that rain from Hurricane Irene didn't put out the flames. What do you think will be needed to get it all done, to do the job right?
Well, since it's not out yet, it's going to take more water, whether it's us putting it in or coming out of the sky. If it comes out of the sky, we hope it's nice, easy, slow, and doesn't bother anybody else.
Right.
John, Don Roberts here. Can you give me an idea of what the firefighters are doing right now and how many you have on the case?
Well, what we're doing right now, there's about 60 of them out in the field. They're taking in a smaller portable pump called a Mark III. 2 people can easily carry it around. They're getting close to those smokes we saw. We saw about 30 smokes when we flew over yesterday and the day before, and they're still there this morning. They're moving those pumps close to those areas that are smoking, it's hot spots, and trying to get more water. They'll move any kind of standing water they can find, usually out of the ditches, but some of these bigger pools we have now since the storm went through, and put it right on the hot spot.
John, any idea of how much water will be needed to put everything out?
Well, if we knew how big that fuel bed was, I could answer that.
Right.
You just have to remember that swamp's pretty much peat for anywhere from 2 to I don't know how many feet deep. And that peat will all burn if it's not wet. So we get it wet, it won't burn.
John, I'm sure many of us are still curious about the people who are actually doing the hard work to put the fire out. Did you have to drive them to the nearest road and then let them walk a certain distance in, or did you helicopter them in and just drop them off?
Well, right now we're not using helicopters to transport people. So it's either drive in, and some of these hotter spots are close to one of the ditch roads, or if it's not, then they do have to walk in. Walking with the more water in there does get kind of hazardous, so we're trying to make sure they're being really careful so nobody gets hurt.
Right. We don't want anyone to get hurt, certainly putting out those flames in the hot spots. One of the concerns, though, from this fire is the smoke that kind of lingered for so long, and for so many communities who were feeling the effects of the fire and all the smoke. Do you think with what Hurricane Irene was able to dump down that the smoke will be lessened for the rest of us?
Well, the volume of smoke right now is definitely minuscule compared to what it was before the hurricane came through. And as long as that moisture stays in the ground, it'll stay at a fairly low level. And that's our intent, to keep it down and get it out of there.
Well, we wish you the best and stay safe, and thank you for the hard work.
Well, thank you.
John Bear with a team of firefighters working to control the fire at the Dismal Swamp. A lightning strike started the fire back August 4th. Since then, almost 6,500 acres have been charred.